Welcome to the Accidental Experts podcast. I'm your host, Bryce Hamilton. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and a child and family therapist. I have been in practice for over 15 years, and I'm also a mom of 4. So I know the challenges both professionally and personally. I'm so glad that you're here today to grow your parenting toolbox. Please come as you are and be ready to learn. My goal is to make you the accidental expert so that you can raise healthy humans. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I'm so excited for our episode today. So we are going to be talking to Sadie Higgins, who is a TEDx speaker, a transformational author, music and wellness guide, and the mother of 3. Her upcoming memoir, newly released, chronicles how music helped her navigate identity, motherhood, and her husband's brain cancer diagnosis. She helps others use the sound and story to move through emotions and reclaim joy, even in the midst of chaos. So today she's going to be talking to us about the importance of music and mental health. With that, let's get to Sadie.
I'm so excited to be here. This is going to be a lot of fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Music and mental health, like you are like literally checking all of my boxes. So like, I am so excited to talk about this. So let's start with, you have a personal story about music and its importance and impact in your life. Can you talk to us about what inspired you to like be so involved with music and what it's done for your life?
Yeah, so I love the title of your podcast because that is certainly me.
Yes.
Music has been a through line in my life since I was a small child, playing the violin, growing up in choirs and in bands. And somewhere along the way, I lost my connection with music. And it wasn't intentional, it just happened.
Yeah.
And I really realized the disconnect during the pandemic, which was a really tough time for all of us. I was living with my sister-in-law who had just become a COVID ICU nurse.
Oh my
My
gosh.
husband was building our home from the ground up while working full time.
Oh my goodness.
I was home with 3 kids, 6 and under, while building a startup. So talk about being in a pressure cooker situation, being overwhelmed, being burnt out. And I will never forget picking my son up for music lessons when he was allowed to go back to music. I said, "Hey, what'd you play today, bud?" And he said, "Oh, this song by Harry Styles." And I was like, "Oh, I don't really know his music." And I pressed play. And something about that new, fresh, breezy love song did something. It reignited my love for music. And I felt the shift in the car immediately. Everyone was swaying back and forth. And not only did it lead me on a journey of self-discovery during such a crazy time, but it also led me to use music as a tool for emotional regulation and a tool to connect with my kids again. And it couldn't have come at a more perfect time, because when we finally moved into our beautiful new home, 3 months later, my husband was diagnosed with brain cancer. And I found myself again in this pressure cooker situation and being overwhelmed. But this time I had music on my side. And so music allowed me to be strong and sturdy for my family and weak and undone in my bedroom alone. And having that powerful tool to get my emotions out so I could be the best version of myself with what I could be at the time, it was priceless. And so I made it part of my mission to tell my story, share my story with other women and caregivers and parents, and also give them this powerful tool of music.
Yeah. I mean, it's easily accessible, right? Like we have the radio, which is free. You don't get to pick the songs, right? But we have that. But then we have, like all these music platforms, which lots of them are free too. And like YouTube and all the things. I remember there was, now I'm not going to remember what it was called, but I was looking at something, I think on LinkedIn, and somebody was talking about there's an app where you can tell about, like, it's not like commercial music, it's like sounds, right? And it was like you could do the like, let's say you're needing a calm playlist, and it's like just music notes, right, that sound lovely together, that are imparting that like feeling inside of you. And I was like, okay, yeah. And so then I was like, well, I'm going to try this out and see. And I was like, oh my gosh, it worked. Like when I'm like, I really need to focus.
Yeah.
I need to get some stuff done. And so I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, music for focusing, right? And
Yeah.
then it was like, oh my gosh, I actually got the stuff done. I stayed on task and got the things done. This is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean,
powerful.
yeah, you're opening up a can of worms because I'm like, oh, we can talk about that. But yes, there's so many apps out there for music. I mean, I listen to a frequency app every night when I go to bed. I do something with music every night as well before I go to bed personally. We'll talk about that in a minute. But there's so many playlists for different emotions that it's right at your fingertips all the time. And one of the best ways to use music for focus is either nothing at all while you're deep in the focus, especially if you're writing something that requires a lot of focus, or if you're really deep into something, set a timer for a half hour or 1 hour at the most, and then take a music break. So get up and shake your body out and listen to some really joyful, uplifting music, and it just gets the creative juices flowing again. And Einstein did this famously. He used to take breaks all the time. And I'm not saying it led to the theory of relativity, but I'm not saying it didn't.
But it could be that powerful in your life. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So talk about more powerful ways that you've seen music support emotional well-being, mental health in your life, but then others too.
Yeah. So we're on the precipice of something incredible. This isn't just woo. There are major universities out there studying music in the brain, and not just cognition, but emotional regulation, emotional health, and mental well-being as well. And we're talking about Oxford, Harvard, Vanderbilt, Duke, just to name a few. So people are taking this seriously, and they're beginning to really look at it. So one of my favorite studies that was done was they took a group of people going into surgery, and half of the group they gave an anti-anxiety medication, and half of the group they gave Marconi Union's Weightless, which is a song that helps to reduce stress. And you can actually play it on loop if you want. They both yielded the same results. So that's
amazing. I had not heard that study. Yes.
Oh yeah. So they're starting to use it as medication. I mean, they're using it in Parkinson's patients to be able to walk freely without tremors when they're listening to music. They use it for Alzheimer's patients. So this is something that is really coming down the pipeline, and I'm very excited to see where people are going with it. As far as emotional regulation goes and studies, we know that music can help reduce cortisol, which is our stress hormone. It can also increase dopamine and serotonin, our feel-good hormones, and oxytocin, which is our bonding hormone. And that one is really cool when we talk about parent and child bonding, and we can get more into that later. But yes, I mean, there are multiple studies about the benefits of music in various ways.
Yes. Well, I was thinking about, so something that we have kind of a tradition in our house to do is around music. So like on Friday nights, like after we've had like a long week, everybody's home from school and work, we like everybody like picks different songs to do. And I remember the first time I was like, okay, what's the song that my kids have not heard that is like one of those like super energetic, like powerful songs? And so I did Kung Fu Fighting, and I was doing the like kicking movement. My kids had not laughed so hard because I like literally did the hi-ya, right? Like where I like jumped up and kicked, and they were like, I was like, please don't fall on your butt. But I mean, we were laughing. And so connecting, like that ability to connect through music, and also thinking about just like sad times in my life where it's like somebody else gets it. Like somebody else understands what I'm going through and how hard it is, whether it's that artist or like other people, because they wouldn't write a song just for me, right? Like it's not just one person, right? It's like, this is a feeling that lots of people have had, like just feeling heard and connection, just life and our mental health, like having positive, balanced mental health is about connection too. And so music can make us so connected.
Yeah, I mean, musicians are artists, they're poets who are sharing a part of their lives and a part of their stories, and they've been through what we've been through, and maybe it's not the exact same thing, but it's instant validation listening to music like that.
Yes.
And then sharing that with your kids is incredible. I mean, you just said it, you have your kids pick out different songs and then you pick out a different song. What a way to have them all feel validated and seen too, because they get to pick as well. And then, listening to sad music when you're sad actually releases prolactin, which is the same hormone that's released when a mom is nursing their child. So, it is this soothing, calming, comforting thing that we have at our fingertips.
Yeah. Which is important, like the nursing piece of the prolactin, I remember nursing babies and like that feeling of like, you just like let down, like literally, I mean, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that feeling of like, it's so helpful. Like people, like, I know I don't love to cry and it just like isn't something I just love, right? Like most people don't, but like when I do it, I feel so much better. So it's that same feeling of like that releasing of that emotion, because like emotions really are just indicators of telling us something. We don't need to hold on to them, right? Like keeping them in our body for a long time can be detrimental. I think it can cause tragic ramifications if we're holding stress and anger and sadness in our body and never releasing it. So like music is a great way to get it out.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So, there are multiple studies talking about, what happens when you suppress your emotions, and it's not good. None of them are great, right? So, increased aggression, heart issues, and an earlier death. Like, no thanks. I don't want any of those things. And I found myself doing that so often during that pressure cooker situation. And I know I'm not alone. There are many people out there who are like, I just have to keep going.
Yeah.
Right. So emotional regulation, I think people are kind of like, well, what does that word mean? It means to pause, acknowledge how you're feeling, process what you're feeling before you move about your day. And the beautiful thing about music is instead of spending 30 minutes angry and living and stewing in that emotion, music has a time limit. You play 2 songs and there you go. Now you've listened to 2 angry songs that get out how you're feeling, and then you can guide yourself to the next emotion. And maybe that's calm, or maybe that's calm and then joy. And so there are very specific ways you can do that. And that's through lyrics and also through beats per minute. So if we listen to a song around 60 beats per minute or less, that's going to help us process our emotions. And I know that sounds like well, what does that mean? What does the 60 beats per minute mean? It's really just a downbeat, right? So it's like thumb, 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 thumb. And even doing that, I feel my heart rate going down a little bit. I feel myself calming down. And then if you're trying to get to a joyful, okay, I'm going to get up and dance, I'm going to move my body, that's around 120 beats per minute or more. And that's kind of where all of our pop music lives, right? So it's more like dun, 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 dun. And now I'm almost like moving my body more just doing that. So music helps us identify those specific emotions. And I love how you said those emotions aren't good or bad. And I think a lot of people feel like I'm not allowed to feel shame. I can't feel guilt. I can't be angry right now. Yes, you can. We're human. We do have those emotions. They're informing us of something. Why are you feeling that way? Let's take a moment to pause. Don't take your day. That's not helpful for most parents, but you can take a song or two, write down how you're feeling maybe during the process, or just close your eyes and listen to a song and then move on. We are allowed to do that. Our emotions, our information, acknowledge it, and then guide yourself to how you're wanting to feel for the rest of your day.
Yeah. Well, and I was just thinking it's a way to manifest too, right? Like it's a way to change the channel, right? Because there are times where it's just like, I literally want to like, I'm mad about something and I just want to like, I don't really want to be mad. Like, I don't want to stay in this place. It's like, okay, yes, I get it. I'm mad about whatever. Like, okay, like I'll figure out what I can do about that. But sometimes I'm like, right now, I can't deal with that thing right now. I need to pick my kids up from school. I need to, call and have this important conversation, or I have a patient in crisis. Like I can't be doing that feeling. I need to transition to this. And music is, I love that you're right. It's like, it has a defined amount of time, right? The song
Yeah.
is 2 minutes and 38 seconds, right? And then it's like, okay, then that's done. And you might need two, but like it is not a forever time. So it kind of helps us to transition a little bit more quickly, but not with pushing the emotion down, not in a quick way where it's ignoring that. It's allowing it, but then it's also providing permission to move forward.
Absolutely. And I love what you said about how if you really just do not have the time to process your emotions in the moment, one of my favorite things to do is track your emotion at the end of the day. Have a check-in with yourself. What are the big emotions I felt today? And then I actually created a tracker where it has song suggestions for those emotions.
Oh,
so
amazing.
So if you felt shame that day and you're like, whew, this was really bad, you can either listen to a song that feels like shame and then just go to the next emotion up, or you can say, I felt that shame. I acknowledge it. I see it. I feel it. I really want to feel enlightened right now. I want to feel joy right now. I want to feel peace right now, and just skip on up to a song that can get you there. Yes. It also allows you a way to find patterns in your life, right? So I'm always feeling angry because of this one thing. If you're tracking your emotions at the end of the day or in real time, if you can, which most of us can't, you can pinpoint those pain points, right? Yes. What is it that is making me do this every day? And can I change my habits?
Yeah. Or is it like on Thursdays? Why Thursdays? Like, what is it about that? It helps us to get curious about what is contributing to that feeling.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Amazing. And I think, even if you're not, it would be ideal if we did it every day, but there's not a lot of things that I am able to accomplish every day, but it's like, doing periodic check-ins, right? Like, that's so much more important than not doing it at all. Right. Having that thing to be able to recognize those emotions. And like, when I talk to teenagers, sometimes I'll be like, it'd be helpful if you just like journaled, like angry journaled. And they're like, well, I can't journal every day. And I was like, well, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I just want you to rage journal, right? Get it all out. And then, right. But music might be my new replacement for rage journaling.
I'm telling you, it's so much fun. Yes. It is so much fun. And what I love about music too, is it's personal. So I can give you suggestions, but you might have your own, right? You know the songs. Like if I'm listening to Alanis Morissette, or if I'm singing it in the shower, my husband knows to tiptoe away and let me have my time, right? So, every person has their own style, and it's really cool and what you can encourage them to do is write down, what are some rage songs? What are some songs that might identify with how you're feeling right now? And that way gives them power to find that themselves.
Yes, you just reminded me when I was a new therapist and we used to have CDs. You remember those, of course, because we're not 19. But I think we used to do album covers, and I would have teens pick out the songs, like what's their like soundtrack for their life, right? And that was like such a fun thing. But now they're like, I'm sorry, what's a CD? Like, I'm sorry, like, at least we have records coming out now, and so they see like the picture and the songs and the details and all the stuff that comes in. But I feel like it was like a funny thing for a while, excuse me, where people are like, wait, what? Like an album cover? Like, I don't know what that is.
I love this so much because, that's one of the things that I actually do in my webinar is I have people create their life soundtrack. When you said that, I started laughing because it reminds you of how far you've come. Yes. And it gives you these memories to go back to. And then also when you said manifesting earlier, it can manifest who you'd like to be, what you'd like your future to feel like or sound like. And with all the capabilities of Canva and Adobe and all of those things, you can create your own album cover for it, and then create your own little Spotify playlist with all of these songs, and then just have it handy when you're feeling low one day. Play this soundtrack and remember how far you've come, and then remind yourself of where you want to go. I love that.
Yes. I feel like I manifested my husband and I getting married when we were on our first date. I really like, I think I want to marry you. Do you know that song? Like where I
Of
can't
course.
remember.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bruno
Okay.
Mars.
Yes. I was like, who is it? And I was like, oh my gosh. And I kept having this feeling like, oh my God, I cannot believe this song is playing. Like, and it
Yeah.
kept playing. And like, it just like, it was like on repeat everywhere we went on our first date. And I was like, and
Yeah.
I remember saying to him, like, what is that weird for you that like Bruno Mars was singing? Like, I think I want to marry you. And he was like, what? And I was like, I was listening. I'm like living into this, but music is just, yes, so incredibly powerful. Okay. So let's talk about in terms of children developing. What
Yeah.
have you seen in terms of music's power to help kids socially, emotionally, even academically? I imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, if we can get out of shame, then we
Yeah.
can use it for
So
focusing
many
or
things.
remembering things or whatever. So, like, what is there a specific age that music is more important than others? Like, tell me all the things about child development and music, please.
You can't start too early with music,
Yeah.
and really we don't. I feel like most parents naturally do this when they bring a newborn home. What do? You sing to them, right? You hum to them, you sing them lullabies. It's very natural for us as humans to do that. As far as studies go, there are numerous studies that talk about how incredible music is for children's development in various ways. And I think what's interesting about music is it's rarely solo. Like maybe when you get older, it starts to become more of a solo experience, but mostly we're learning from someone, right? So our parents are singing to us as babies. We have a teacher at some point. We're in a band and we're collaborating with other people. So it is very social. In kindergarten, my daughter was in kindergarten last year, and they use music all the time for teaching, right? So there is a social aspect of it right away. Emotionally, I mean, forget about it. There are so many ways that music can help kids out emotionally. I have 2 drummers in the family, and they love to just bang it out when they're not feeling great. They also use music to tell me how they're feeling during the day. And I'll get into one of my favorite ways that we can use music for emotional regulation and for bonding later. But academically, music creates new neural pathways in our brains. It is a whole brain experience, and it's one of the only stimuli to do so, which in and of itself is incredible. Like, Steven Pickner once said, he was a famous psychologist, said that, music was just auditory cheesecake. Well, if that were true, we would have evolved out of it centuries ago. But we have used it for years for, ancient battle drums, for spirituality, for the bonding between parent and child. Academically, it is great for memory, for spatial recognition, for math skills, because it's such a whole brain activity. The one thing I want to tell parents that I find is so important, and not a lot of people say it, or people don't say it enough, is that the best instrument for your child is what they choose. I'm going to say it again. The best instrument for your child is what they choose. So if you go to your child and say, hey, do you want to play the piano? Or, hey, you should really play the violin. Now you're putting that into their head, and they feel like they have to do it to please you. The best question is, hey, what instrument would you like to play? And I say this because, I grew up wanting my kids to learn piano because I wanted to learn piano and I never did. But I'll never forget my son's kindergarten teacher came up to me and said, I heard you want your son to play an instrument. What do you want him to play? And I said, well, I want him to play the piano, but what do you think he should play based on your expertise? And she said, I think he should play the drums. And I came to him the next day and said, hey, what instrument do you want to play? And he said, I want to play the drums. He is so passionate about the drums. Like, he's been in several bands already. He's 11 years old. Like, that will encourage your child to have an outlet and to continue playing, because most kids drop instruments, by the time they're in high school, because, there's academically, there are other more important things, but continuing to play an instrument is a lifelong gift you're giving your child.
So how do you do that? Because I find that like, okay, so let's say, you know, we let our kids pick, right? And then they're like,
Yep.
actually, I picked the drums. Now I want to learn the piano.
Yep.
Do we
Yeah.
do that? Like, what if they're in the, like, I think parents say to me, like, this is a question that parents will ask me because it's more about the quitting aspect of something.
Mhm.
And I'm not afraid for kids to quit things. Like, there are definitely times and places for us to choose something else.
Yep.
But in terms of music, I mean, what
Yeah.
is your thought on that?
Yeah. So I have a drummer. He's been a drummer since he was a baby, and he'll be a drummer forever. He just loves the drums. I
Mm-hmm.
have two other children. My middle child wanted to be a guitarist. He played the ukulele for a little while, transferred over to the guitar for, a year, and now he's a drummer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oof, I thought you wanted to play guitar. In my head, I didn't say this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we were lucky enough to have a music teacher who just transitioned with him. You're
That's amazing.
curious, and that
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that he said to us, his music teacher, is let them be curious. I
Yeah.
have instruments in my room for them to tinker, because as long as a child is interested, they'll continue to be interested in. But if you force them to put them in a box, then they're going to get burnt out from it most likely and then quit it. So yeah, I get that not everyone has the ability to find a music teacher that can kind of grow with your child with what they're interested in. But if you do have the ability to do that, that's great. Also, rent instruments. Don't go out and buy. I mean, I think a lot of parents are like, oh, my kid wants to play the piano. I got to go get an electronic piano, or I have to go get a baby grand, or whatever it is.
Yes.
Just give it some time. Let it marinate a little bit. Let them play, with an instructor, or rent an instrument for 6 months or so. Let them tinker around, see if they like it, and then invest.
Yeah. Wise. Because I think that's also probably, as parents, we're like thinking financially savvy too. We're like,
Yeah.
we bought this set of drums and that was $2,000. And now you don't want to play the drums. And like, no, you're
Yeah.
going to keep playing the drums.
Yeah.
But what I hear you saying
Space.
is let them envision it as an exploration. Like we're
Yes.
exploring the drums.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
now we're exploring the piano.
And you would be shocked how many people are giving away instruments for free on Facebook Marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
Start there. We got our son a free, you had to put a pillow in the bass drum because she was just giving this thing away. And it's a great place to start. If you really loved it and he'll bang around on it, then, we can invest later on down the road. So get something for free on the marketplace, rent an instrument for a little bit. If you have the means to buy, great, but wait a little bit and see where their curiosity takes them before you invest.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think I was thinking about you saying about the piano. My mom wanted to play the piano as a kid, but her parents did not have the financial means to do that. And so then she was like, when I was a kid, she was like, you're going to be a piano player. She was kind of like, you want to play the piano, right? And I was like, yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I never wanted to practice. I never, right? Like I really didn't feel like it was cool to be able to do it, but I didn't really want to do it. And so, yeah, I can see how letting your kid choose is so vitally important in terms of like maintaining their endurance because playing musical instruments can be challenging. I mean, it's using so much.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh,
and so.
Definitely. Yeah. I remember playing the drums once, and I looked at my son's instructor and I was like, oh, this is hard. And he's like, yeah. Yes, it is. I'm like, oh, that does take a lot of work. But the rule in our household, and other parents can develop this if they choose to or not, is play an instrument. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's your voice. Play an instrument. Choose whatever it is that you want. But it is a lifelong gift you're giving yourself to do so. There's no adult that I've ever met who's like, oh, I wish I hadn't played the piano. Like everybody who still plays something, it's benefiting them in a specific way.
And it's so many memories too, right? Like I think, like even like you playing, obviously listening to songs brings back memories, but then also just like I can still remember how to play a couple of songs on the piano, and like when I do it, I feel like really proud of myself for that, because I'm like, that was a long time ago. But it's like I connect and I remember things that I've forgotten about that time when I do that. So, I
Oh,
mean, it's just
yeah.
such a memory keeper too.
Well, it reminds me of like Olaf, who says like water has memories. You know, it's
Yes.
music. Music has memories too, and so Dr. Andrew Budson, who's a neuroscientist here in Boston, talks about concerts as memories. So, you know, when you attend a concert, which is just an incredible experience for everyone, 5, 10, 20 years down the road, when you hear that same song you heard in concert, it just catapults you right back to that same time, place, memory, and most importantly, the emotion and the feeling that you had when you were there live. So concerts are one of those things that is a gift that keeps on giving as well, especially when you tailor it to something that your kids really like, or something that you really like that you want to bring them on that experience with you. Yeah, and I know that sounds like concerts are an extravagant thing, but talk about oxytocin and releasing that, you know, bonding hormone when you go to a concert and you're with people who all have the same goal as you, which is to not give a hoot about anyone's political affiliation or socioeconomic status. We're all here to listen to the music and feel something. You are bonded. Our heart rates actually sync up. Our respiratory rates sync up. It's a peak experience. It really is an enlightening experience for everyone involved. And it's this time capsule that you get to have forever.
Yes. Well, and I was just thinking, like in our area, I live in Kansas City, and like we have lots of free outdoor concerts, tons of them, where maybe it's not the like band that is my most favorite, right? But just music that is has that feeling where it's like I want that feeling, or just like being outside and in nature and music together is like, wow.
Amazing. It's amazing. It's, you know, just a feast for your senses, right?
Yes.
And in the summer, especially, you get all these free concert series. Support local artists, go to local shows. I mean, we're lucky we both live in cities that we can just, you know, hop on the train and go in and watch anyone. And that's one of my favorite things to do, is to just kind of pop into a local venue and see who's playing. And it doesn't have to be anyone famous, but you're still going to get that, you're actually helping your brain, because when you hear new music that you haven't heard before, that actually helps create new neural pathways too, especially when you beat along with it. So it's getting you more curious about the world and about your local community.
Yes. Love that. Love that. I was saying to my husband the other day, we were driving somewhere and a song that came on the radio, we were playing, I guess it was on a playlist. And I was like, oh my gosh, this reminds me how much I miss the dueling piano bars. Like, I don't miss being at the bars anymore. But the dueling, like, just so fun. Like, what an amazing experience. And so like, and he was like, oh yeah, I really miss that too. And so it brought back just like all, like a flood, like literally it was like a photo album of all these times that I've heard this song. It was so awesome. So yes, I love that. Okay. So what we've kind of alluded to this. What does research say about how music impacts the brain, particularly in terms of stress and focus and emotional regulation? I know that as parents, I feel like we're more stressed as parenting, maybe not, but it just seems like we're more stressed these days than we've ever been. So talk to me about what we need to know about music.
Yeah. So there are a couple things I want to talk about here. Number one is that when my husband was going through chemo and radiation, his doctors said, play an instrument, listen to music. It's great for his cognition. And I was like, say what? You know, these are world-renowned neuro-oncologists telling me to make sure that he listens to new music, that he plays something new, or that he sings something new. And to come from top scientists, I think, is just total validation right there. When it comes to focus, we chatted about that a little bit, and there is no reason you can't use that for your children as well when they're knee deep in a project or homework or studying. It's just set a timer for them for 30 to 45 minutes and say, okay, why don't you come down and we'll shake it out a little bit and we'll have like a little dance party together, or listen to your favorite new song, whatever it is. Those are tools you can use for your kids as well. And those that's scientific research right there. When it comes to emotional regulation, I love how you chatted about, as parents, what can we do? Well, some scientists think that the key to happiness is emotional regulation. Think about that. That's huge. I mean, when I think about generational trauma, I think most of that comes from people who are emotionally unregulated.
Yes.
So if we can regulate ourselves, if we can learn something about ourselves, if we can figure out how to control our emotions and to find our joy and to find our spark, we're just bettering not just our own lives, but everyone around them. I mean, we create this ripple effect of positivity and peace, and then we emulate to our children how they should do it too. Let me just say, I am not even close to perfect. I have slammed a door in my life. I have yelled. And then I can say, I shouldn't have done that. The thing I could have done was this, and chat with my children about it. Sometimes the best thing you can do, and like driving to school with my kids, if it was a really tough morning and nobody wanted to leave the house and everybody forgot something and we finally get in the car, if I play nothing, they know mom needs a moment, and everyone's just quiet for a little bit. And then I can say, okay, let's chat about how we can do things differently tomorrow. And then we chat about it for a minute. And then I'm like, okay, what song should we play? And it's something upbeat. And that is just real-time emotional regulation. It does not mean you have to be a perfect parent. It does not mean you're always going to get it right. But having those tools at your fingertips and showing your kids it's okay to not be perfect. Here's what we can do instead. Here's how we can learn from the day.
Yes. Perfect parents don't exist.
No.
Complete emotional regulation doesn't exist.
No.
These are things, right? So we're doing our best with adding these things to that opportunity to say, didn't go well. Here's what didn't go well, acknowledging it, and then finding a way to move through it. Right.
Yes.
So I think that's amazing, because the last thing you want to do, I mean, I know for me, sometimes mornings are hard. My key is like getting up before them, being ready before them. Right. I try all of that. And most days it works out well, but some days it doesn't. And then we're all rushed, or, like, oh my gosh, I forgot field trip. I have to pack your lunch or whatever it is. Right. And it gets crazy. And so, but we don't want to leave our kids. We don't want to drop them off at school in a sad, unhappy, down place, or feeling shameful or whatever it is. Like, I want my kids to have a great day, even if the morning didn't go well. Like, let's reset right here. Right. So I love that, like, upbeat music to depart. Right. Even though that piece didn't go well, we're now doing this.
Absolutely. I would also suggest find a really out there silly song. Like just something so wildly silly that the kids are like, what is this? This is so weird and funny. I'll tell a quick story about how a friend of mine was going through something really traumatic, and it was just unfair. It felt like your life was unfair, and she was allowed to have that moment of feeling. And so I sent her this song, and it was a cursing song. I mean, it was such a wildly silly song, but it was, a curse word, this curse word, and it was connected to my car. I had played this for her, and then I turned my car on, started it early, and my kids were in the car and it was playing super loud. And I went in the car and I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no. And they were like, Mom, what was that? And now anytime I'm angry or upset, they say, Mom, play that song. And I don't even have to, because it just sparks that memory of like them wildly laughing over something silly that I didn't mean to. Now, there are other songs I go to that don't have curse words in them, that because I didn't mean to do that, but that are really silly that I know will get everyone laughing. And it's just an instant mood shift. So if you can find something totally silly, I mean, just Google like silly songs and you'll find something that works.
Yes. Oh my gosh. We have had so many songs like that the kids will be like, can we play this? And I'm like, what is that? And then we like listen to it. I'm like, this song is so ridiculous, but everybody's laughing,
Yes.
And
you need one of those. You need one of those in your back pocket.
Yes. But then sometimes I'm like, only once though. Okay. Like I cannot listen. Everybody cannot choose this song, right? Like, oh my gosh, you're going to make me crazy. But yes, love it. Yes. Okay. So when we're talking about like, I think some families like, it's funny when I met my husband, like his parents listened to totally different music with my husband growing up than my parents did. And so then us coming together, we have like we both really like music, but like different things. And like he's exposed me to things that I really didn't know about before we had met. And I've, showed him songs that we listened to and whatever. And so like we obviously have different tastes, but some families just, they didn't grow up with music, right? Like even though that seems like something that we do, it really wasn't part of their home. So that for those people that would say, they didn't really listen to music, or maybe they're like, I'm not musical, right? Like I don't have a good singing voice. I never learned how to play an instrument. I can't keep a beat to save my life. What can we do to help those people bring music into their home to support their children? And themselves?
I love this question because, it doesn't have to be scary. There's nothing scary about it. If you can carry a tune, great. Sing a little bit with your kids, or just encourage them to sing and see what comes up, because just doing that act of singing is really great for your parasympathetic nervous system. And it doesn't have to sound good in order to reap benefits. But I would also say, like, start at a place where you're together. Like, there are things we have to do every day, right? We have to eat dinner. We have to go to bed. We have to drive our kids to school, right? So there are certain things that you're always doing. If you can incorporate music into those scenarios, that's just the greatest place to start. So for instance, when I was growing up, we were a very musical household, but in different ways than my household is now. But growing up, when we would eat dinner, if we were having Italian music, I know we were listening to Pavarotti or something that was Italian. If we were eating Mexican food, I knew that we were going to have a mariachi band. And so just incorporating music from different cultures gets kids curious about, wait a second, that's not something I've heard before. And that gets your kids interested. Sparking their curiosity is a great way to start. For bedtime, having a specific bedtime song, or asking them, like, what would you like to hear tonight? And you can play it on your phone. You don't have to sing it. You can tap it out. You can have them sing it if you want to, or hum it, but really just play it on your phone if you want to. And then school rides. One of my favorite things to do is to have my kids play DJ. So on the way to school, each person takes a turn, and it gives me a lot of insight as to where they're at. So either maybe they're emotionally feeling a certain way, or, I've never heard this song before. Where are you getting it? Like, where are you getting this song from? And then I learn about a new friend, and, oh, my friend suggested this. This is what he's listening to. And I think when it comes to that, it's just making sure there's no judgment involved, that you're really listening to it out of curiosity, even if you're not a fan of it, to just ask questions like, where did this come from? Why do you like this song? And then having dance parties. That's such a simple way to incorporate music into your household. If you're not musical at all, just turn on a playlist and go to town. Now, if you have played an instrument in the past, it's a great time to dust off that old tuba and start playing for your kids. If you were in a band, share pictures, share stories, talk to your kids about your passions as well. So those are all great places to start.
Yes, I love this. Okay, so we've kind of talked about how music can strengthen parent-child relationships. I think obviously connection, right? And just having a shared activity. But talk to me about examples that parents can use to build this connection more meaningfully. Like, what else can they do in terms of like attachment or connection or repair?
Yeah, so it depends on the age of the child, for sure. So, when they're really little, you can have okay, this is our special song together, and I'm going to play this or sing this special song to you. And then when you come home today, I'm going to sing or play this song to you again. So you have that to look forward to. Or you have a goodbye song. You have a goodbye song, and you have a we're meeting again song, a hello song, or you can keep it the same song. So that's great to do for little kids. When the kids get a little bit older, what's so cool is when they start having phones, you can share playlists. So you can have a family shared playlist and like have them drop in songs whenever they're thinking about it, and you drop in songs too. And now you've got something together that you can listen to and then go back, hey, why'd you like this song? I saw this new song. I really liked it. Where'd you get this from? And then also having musical experiences together, like attending live music together, is a great way to have that bond. So as kids get older, they're kind of talking to us less and less at times, depending on the child. And so having something like this to go to where you're giving each other words without saying them to each other is such a special way to bond and to let them know, hey, I'm listening, I'm here, and I still want to get to know who you are in this moment. Another way too is to sing out special little things for them. So when my kids were really little, I would kind of dictate what I was doing throughout the day. Mommy's going to the kitchen. I'm going to do the dishes, just to get them in tune with me and to help bond with me a little better. And having our own special songs is great, because when I would put them to bed, each child would have their own goodnight song. So, one loved Three Little Birds, one loved Rocket Man. And so those were our songs that we'd sing together.
Yes. Well, and I was thinking, just about, I have like a good morning song when my kids, sometimes depending on the day and whatever, sometimes they're up before I am up out of my room, or other times they're not. And so like a good morning song, and they'll be like, can you sing me the good morning song? And I'm like, because I didn't get to wake you up this morning. Yes. And I'm like, yes, of course. Right. Just that connection of our kids wanting to feel connected to us. They hold so much memory.
Such a built-in routine. And with music, it's something that sticks with them longer. It's easy because it's rhythmic. So it's easier for them to remember too. And so they can almost kind of hum it to themselves at times. I bet your son or daughter, before they came down, they were already starting to hum that song to themselves, but they needed to hear it from you too.
Yes, I bet you're right. Well, and I was thinking about like, even like you said, kindergarten, like the days of the week song, like they have, like the months, and like, I'm just like, oh yeah, like that makes so much sense to put it to music. It's just so much easier to remember. Our brain just like stores it very differently than just pen to paper. Looking at something visually, it really helps to create those neural pathways like you were talking about.
My daughter's learning to read right now, and it's a challenging time for her. And she'll start to sound out the words stop. But if we say stop, she'll get, stop. She gets it faster when it's rhythmic. So anything with music is just so helpful for our memories, and our brains can just grasp it faster.
Oh, I love this. Okay. So if a family wanted to be more intentional, what about incorporating music into their lives, or even just a person being more intentional in their own personal lives? Like what would you say are the places that we really need to focus on?
I think, personally, I think each individual person in this world has a lot of stress throughout their day. So I think the number one thing you can do for yourself throughout your day, anytime you're feeling stressed, is hum. Humming enacts our parasympathetic nervous system immediately. And within 20 to 30 seconds, we're feeling lighter and less stressed. So just taking a minute to take a deep breath. Doing that for 3 seconds already made me feel better, clearer, more focused. So I think that is the quickest, easiest way. You don't have to sound great. This isn't singing. We always carry around instruments with us every single day, our hands, our feet, and our voices. So, you're mad, you can tap out, you can stomp out if you want to. You don't actually have to have any musical instruments around you to do that. So that's a way to be really intentional. In the morning when you wake up, hum yourself, put your hand on your chest and just hum in the morning. And when you go to bed, is a great way to remind yourself, I'm here, I'm honoring myself, and I'm going to hum myself, a few seconds before I go to sleep. As far as music intentionally throughout the day, there are just so many ways you can do that. And it really depends on your personality and your family. If you're a really musical family, you have so many options. You can play together. You can create songs together. You can listen to music and have someone pick it at the dinner table or for a dance party. Mm-hmm. And I love that aspect of incorporating everyone. I mean, I have a 6-year-old, a 9-year-old, and an 11-year-old. And they have different music tastes, and that's good. That gets them to understand that they need to share and be patient and be curious about each other. Mm-hmm. And then if you have no musical talent at all or ability, or you really don't care about music that much, but you should incorporate it into your life, I think the humming is the best thing you can do to help yourself. Mm-hmm. And as a tool for your children. My children do it too. I have one who's very high anxiety, and I just remind him, okay, I'm going to be here with you. I hold his hand. He puts his hand on his chest and we hum together. And then he feels better after, a few moments of doing that. And then creating your own playlists, either as individuals and then coming together to share that, or creating a family playlist is such a unique way to bond together.
Yes, I love this. Sadie, this has been such a phenomenal conversation. Cannot thank you enough. Like truly, like this just makes me so happy to
think so about fun. Thank you.
Yes. Thanks again, Sadie. I think your take on music and its value and importance and like literally every moment of her life is so important. And I know that I'm going to be using music more now after talking to you to just find ways to regulate moods and change energy and just be more conscious of having music in our family. I hope you will too find ways to incorporate music into your life. With that, I will say thank you so much for your time today. If you like what we're doing, please share episodes with your friends and subscribe to our episode. If you could just take a minute right now and subscribe to the episode, the show on the platform that you're using, we would greatly appreciate that. It helps us to get more guests and to understand what our audience likes. With that, I will say, please follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and keep the emails coming with future topic suggestions to our show at accidentalexperts@gmail.com. Have a wonderful day. Some words from our legal team.
The information presented in this podcast is not intended or implied to be a substitute for appropriate professional advice, diagnosis, or treatment. All content, including text, graphics, images, and information contained on or available through this podcast, is for general information purposes only. This podcast makes no representations and assumes no responsibility for the accuracy or information on or available through this podcast, and such information is subject to change without notice. You are encouraged to confirm any information obtained through this program with other sources and review all information regarding any condition or treatment with the appropriate professionals.
What we're saying is, yes, I am a real therapist, but I'm not your therapist.